So I've had to look back into the protocols of how a club is balanced, what variables are there between the club head and the final performance of the club, right up to the shaft and the grip. So really, I look at it from contact backwards. So if the contact is good, then we can start questioning ball flight. And if the ball flight is good, then we can start questioning control, which is how to control the ball with the right spin and how to deliver a certain flight when needed, which is not the stock golf swing. So if we go back to contact, it doesn't matter, and I think this has been proven over the years now, that players with unorthodox golf swings are still playing quite proficiently as compared to what was considered to be the only way to win tournaments, to swing it like some of the masters of the game, like Ben Hogan, and that was the way it was. But so many players over the years have shown that it's your individual action, if it's anywhere close to repeatable, you will have good results. And I'm completely all for that. So if you have a repeatable action, I'm pretty sure that with the right equipment, you will deliver good results. And a lot of college players, including the low handicap amateurs who are looking to take that next plunge or take that next jump, from shooting in the low 70s to going into the 60s for stroke average, they generally end up making swing changes. And I would advise players to stay away from that, because it changes the way your muscles work, it changes the way your body is used to swinging, it changes your instinct. And really, there's this talk of feel. Each player says that this feel of the club is good or bad. So there's certain things which feel right. They feel good when you do them. And this feel is basically, it's something which has a physical connotation. It has a measurable, quantity, which means that if a contact is solid off the club head, you can say that the player felt like it was butter. It was a hot knife going through butter. All that it means is there was less vibration because it hit the middle of the club head, and there was very little resistance from the turf, and the shaft kind of was able to absorb that vibration, that it never reached the hands of the player through the rubber grip. So that smush feeling is basically a reduced vibration at impact. So these feelings are important, and a player can tell you as soon as he hits the golf shot, and I've heard many of the top players, including Ernie Els, when he talks about his Adams clubs, talk about feel, and you'll hear them keep repeating this: it feels good, it feels good, the feel of this club is right, the feel of this putter face is good, the feel of this driver is good, it keeps up with me, or I can trust it. And this feel factor really is the least important variable in teaching or in fitting as of now. And why people cannot measure it, because they don't really understand what the player is feeling. And it could be different for you, it could be different for me. So where do we start? It all starts at impact. If the impact is right off the center, a lot of issues are solved. And with the research that TrackMan has shown, along with Jeff Mann and his articles of the new ball flight laws, you can already see the difference. Now let's look at how many variables there really are. There's a club head, which is static. It has 2 or 3 variables, which is the loft, the lie. It has the groove pattern on the club, and the offset, as well as the bounce and the camber and the flange. So these are really the characteristics of a golf club when it comes to an iron. And from there it goes to the shaft, and from the hosel up the shaft, the characteristics of the shaft come into play, which is dependent on the flex or CPM, the bend profile, which is a little bit confusing at times because it doesn't add anything to the timing of the club. However, it does change the flight of the club, and we can go into that a little bit as well. But then it goes into the grip, and finally at the grip is where the player is applying the golf swing. And when you look at the norms that are being used to fit golf clubs today, they're based on swing speed, and swing speed itself is a bit of a myth, because the club is never at the same speed at any point. At the top of the golf swing, it's at the rear arc of the golf swing, at the top of the backswing, it is at 0 miles an hour at one point. Then it accelerates to impact, and then it drastically stops at finish. So there's a rate of deceleration there as well. This original signature is of a player is the most important thing. No two players in the world are going to have the same golf swing. No two players in the world are going to hit the same shot with the same signature. And that signature is what we have to then apply to the shaft for its weight, for its flexibility, for its torque, and because that is what directly affects the club face at impact.